your jaw. Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello, and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I am your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And we're the Newly Deads.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. This is a half-hour chat show where we discuss a movie that we watched and then talk about it with you fine folks. And consequently, if it is Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can actually talk with us while we're watching the show. So we're usually there every single week. And if we're not, we'll let you know if we're not going to be there.
We try to. We do our best.
And you can find that the show on YouTube at Tingler Television. You can also go to tinglertelevision.com, I think, right? And is there a link?
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
It's confusing.
It's confusing.
But you can go there. I mean, there's still a site there to go check out. But
yes. So
just check out our Facebook page. I always try to make sure it's updated with the most current information that I have available, and we'll let you know as soon as we know.
Yes. You can also check us out at our website, which is thenewlydeads.com, for all of your spooky Newly Deads needs. If this is your first time watching, we do record this in our house, so there are some weird dog sounds or feet that are flying up in the air that you can kind of see in the camera. That's our dog Shaggy, because why not?
He's currently breakdancing on the floor because apparently he's itchy or something, and so I've been trying to get him to stop.
He's a special little boy.
He's a goofus.
Yeah. He's a strange dog.
Anyway, so yeah, you might hear some weird noises. Meanwhile, Bailey's being a good boy, just sleeping.
Yes, but we are here not to discuss our weird dog.
Sometimes.
We're here to talk about a movie that we watched. Yes. And I'm going to read the synopsis on the back of it. This is actually 9 big box of horror movies. I don't think there's 9 in here, though, is there?
No.
That's weird. There's 5.
Yeah, I think we determined that there might not be, that we might be missing a disc. But I'm kind of wondering if we're not, and there's 5 on one and 4 on the other, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. Have we watched other ones on this one?
No.
Oh, this is the first one.
Yep.
This week we watched a movie called Hurt.
Not to be confused with the song by 9 Inch Nails as covered by Johnny Cash. I almost forgot his last name there for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Johnny
Cash.
Johnny the singer.
Or by on the woman's soundtrack by Sean Spillane.
Yeah, you like that guy.
You.
This is a very short synopsis because it's on the big box of horror. So maybe it's a misprint. It's supposed to be 5.
No, I think there might be a second disc that's over there, and come to think about it. But I'm not sure. We'll have to report back.
Okay. Helen Coltrane, at her husband's last request, fosters a young girl whose evil she mistakes for innocence. That's completely different than like the
Internet Movie Database breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little more vague. That's a little less vague.
This is a little bit more
direct.
Oh yeah, I should have remembered that. When you're watching the movie.
To be fair, there's still one twist that isn't really very subtle. If you've watched like 7 movies in your life, you'll probably have figured it out. But it's supposed to be clever, I think.
Yeah.
And I also don't totally understand the bit about the wolf, but we'll get to that, perhaps.
Oh, I understood it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to
that. I have thoughts. Questions if you have if you know more than I do, which you probably do. And this is not a spoiler-free episode. We discussed right before the show, so if you are somebody that wants to watch the film before you hear us talk about it, then stop the tape, go over to Tubi, and check it out. It is available for free on Tubi right now. You can watch it with commercials.
Because otherwise we're going to spoil it for you.
Then come on back, because on YouTube, now that the show is being hosted on there, you can come back and watch it ad nauseum whenever you want.
Yes. But we are going to show you the trailer real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back, we can talk about it. Because you have some thoughts.
You have thoughts too, I bet.
Yes. All right. Oh, here it is.
Where is it?
Magic remote. We'll be right back.
Let's go.
How far away from the city is this place?
It's a cool junkyard.
So don't. Well, maybe your Uncle Daryl can find some space for your own studio in one of these sheds.
You are in my house and you're on my schedule, so don't do that again.
So how long, Mom?
It's temporary. The settlement should come in any day now. The accident was not your father's fault. You know what I want? I want my husband.
Your husband came to me to seek legal guardianship for Sarah Parsons.
One more won't make any difference.
What do we really know about Sarah?
Oh my God, what happened?
You need to tell Mom.
She won't believe us.
What do you want me to do? Get the hell out of here?
You've been watching me, Daryl.
I would never do that to you.
You could get rid of us out here and no one would ever know.
Don't touch me.
Sometimes I feel like everything that happened before Dad died was all an illusion.
We're back. What did you think about the trailer? Usually in the beginning, I tell him, Joel always has like a funny, cute little fake trailer that pops up, and he asks me where the trailer's coming from, and I completely forgot, and he was trying to hit me around there, and he wasn't catching his drift. So
It's been a long day.
here's the trailer. Right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks like from a junkyard. Like a junk trailer.
Because of that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's got like a broken wheel.
Of course it does, because they all do.
And it sounds like crunchy.
Crunchy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that.
Like it's broken. Grindy. All right. So what you got for your notes?
No, now I'm going to show the trailer again.
No.
We'll be right back.
No, you already showed it.
I don't want to show the trailer again. I got to cover my stuff.
Oh, right.
I always take notes. I draw pictures, usually with the notes, sometimes more than others. And
Wow.
she collects them. So I drew this weird dude, and then that weird robot dude, and then I drew
A mouth.
a big mouth because I said that William Mapother has a large mouth.
So does the girl. She has like big lips.
Oh, the
bad seed.
The
I
foster
drew
daughter.
also, but I used my iPad and I didn't print it out.
She didn't. I used my iPad too, incidentally, but
Yeah.
I printed
But
it.
yeah,
Look at that duck. He's so cute.
he's just
Why
got
is
crack
he-
dead.
Oh no.
Yeah, I drew a woof woof.
You drew a wolf wolf. I thought at
I
first I,
said
had a
bad
wolf
seed.
wolf.
Oh, don't look at that.
The what?
The rating.
Oh.
And then I
Um,
said, who's the bad guy? And then it says, I was the bad guy all along.
And then you got a picture of someone that you don't need to know who that is yet because we're not to that point in the spoilers.
And that's what's saying I am the bad guy all along. But I drew it to say, like, the hurt thing, it looks like a junkyard.
Because they the foster brother, stepbrother. Who was William Mapother? Was he a stepbrother or foster brother?
That would have been their uncle.
Yeah, but they weren't blood related.
Yeah, they were.
No, the Melora Walters character
That would have been her
was
brother-in-law.
not blood related.
That was her brother-in-law.
Was it brother-in-law?
Yes.
I thought it was that they were brother and sister, but only because she was
No.
foster kid in their house, and that's why she was fostering other kids, and he was jealous of the dude because he grew up with her and wanted to be with her, and that's kind of what made it gross, but also It wasn't as gross because
She
they
lived
were
in their
technically
house, but she
related?
was a foster child, not an adopted child. So that's a big difference, first of all.
You mean Melora Walters?
hmm
Yeah.
And she fell in love with his brother.
Was it his brother?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he said, I told my brother, like, the one thing that, not to take away from me basically was her. It was weird. It was a little weird.
It was a little weird. They were trying
was
to
in
make it
love with
slightly less
her.
creepy. Yeah, he was definitely.
Yeah.
He had a thing for her, but
It was
got
weird.
a thing for you, Sid.
There's some weird holes in the plot a little bit.
So before we get to
them.
the Swiss cheesy plot, Hurt is from 2009. It's currently sitting at 5.1 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database.
Which is not bad.
It's not bad for a movie that we review, because sometimes they get pretty low. So this was directed by Barbara Stepansky. It was also co-written by Barbara Stepansky. That's weird. Oh, that's why there's 4 different writers. I was like, why are there's so many writers? And I was like, oh yeah. So she is also known for directing a movie called Fugue, which I assume has something to do with having a fugue state. Final Recourse, which sounds like the last thing you do when you don't have any other option. And a movie that she also wrote called Girls, Girls, Girls. And I don't think it's the Motley Crue video. I'm like 99% sure it's not. It's actually a movie. She also wrote, they kept these separate, Psychophonia, which sounds like a 60s movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fake, like weird 60s movie. 7 from Etheria. And Women of the Dead. Women of the Dead. Women of the Dead. And it was a TV show, series, movie, something. I just wrote TV next to it. I think it was a series, maybe.
Weird.
Yeah. And so she wrote all those, but I don't remember if she directed them. I think she only wrote and directed the one. So this was also written by Allison Lee Benjamin, or Bingaman. I'm going to say Benjamin. Bingeman. Bingaman. Who wrote an episode of RoboCop, the TV series from 1994.
Oh.
It's on the shelf. I love RoboCop, but that series is rough. And I don't think it was one of the Canadian films, because I think I would have wrote that in. There was 4 films made in Canada that were for TV.
Was it just like a whole season or series of them just shooting somebody in the junk?
In the junk? No, there was actually weird plots. Yeah, there was the 3 movies, the 4, and there was the 4 Canadian movies, and then there was the series that ran for, I think it was a long, I want to say it was 2 seasons. There's a lot I haven't even made it through the whole set yet. It's a little hard to watch, but it's pretty well done. And then there's other knockoffs, but anyway, and then there's the reboot. She also wrote V.C. Andrews' Tarnished Gold for television, which grew up reading V.C. Andrews. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's true. And some Forever Night, which, if you ever remember that show about the vampire, I think he's a cop or something. Either a cop or a detective or something. It's like a sexy vampire shoot 'em up show.
Okay.
This was also written by James Martin, who wrote this and a movie called White Knuckle Ride, which is upcoming. It's not even out yet. And Eduardo Levy, who wrote this and then gave up writing, apparently, because he couldn't top this movie.
Top that.
Top this and that. Maybe that'll put that at the end, the top that bit. That's funny. This stars one Melora Walters, who you may know from Cabin Boy. Hey kid, you want to buy a monkey? Ed Wood, the quintessential movie by Tim Burton, although my wife would say Beetlejuice is probably the quintessential Tim Burton film. Boogie Nights, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and Magnolia, also another Paul Thomas Anderson movie. 2 fantastic movies that if you've not seen them, you should watch them, but they can be a little challenging at times, but they're good. And I should also mention that she was in Matchstick Men, which every time I see that listed, I have to bring it up because my wife loves it.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm. William Mapother, who I mentioned in a previous episode of ours for The Burrowers. This is Tom Cruise's cousin, who was in Born on the 4th of July, Tom Cruise movie, Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise movie.
Mhm.
Magnolia, Tom Cruise movie.
Jeez.
Minority Report, Tom Cruise movie. Notice a trend there.
It's like all Tom Cruise movies.
They're all. I picked specifically that he's done a lot of other stuff, but I picked, of course, the Tom Cruise movies because why not? And I want to mention Jackson Rathbone, who was in Mixtape, which sounds like something I should see. Twilight, and he played.
He was Jasper.
Yep, I wrote it down here.
Very brooding
Uh,
boyfriend to Alice.
very brooding.
It's just like, I'm a young vampire and I'm going to eat your face.
He should have been in Forever Night. Oh, he's too young. He was in Zombie Hamlet, which I don't know why they keep picking on Hamlet. Like there was Hamlet 2, which is the Steve Coogan movie, which is freaking hilarious. And he was in the TV series Guardians of Justice, which is kind of like if Adult Swim did their version of The Boys, but with much lower like Turbo Kid special effects. Like not Turbo Kid, Kung Fury. Had to think about it for there. Yeah, it was a dark watch. It was
Sounds
short, but it was
interesting.
very dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was good or not. It was weird.
It's all right.
It was all right. So at this point, my wife turns to me and says,
Hi.
"Hello, Clarice."
What'd you think?
So start off. I've said something similar to what you said there. Is that that it was an interesting cast was the word I used. I said it felt like a real movie with an interesting cast. And when I said interesting, I meant they were well cast in the roles they were playing, and they made the story like you wanted to watch it because of the acting. Like the actors were actually doing a good job, I guess is what I'm saying. And they were interesting to watch. You said something on your notes, I believe. It was a good,
I liked the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the Twilight thing or whether it's
No, I liked all of the cast members.
It just seemed apropos, appropriately cast.
Yeah.
Um,
I even hated the girl. Well, so the one girl, did you mention that she was on?
I didn't
Medium?
mention. I asked it. My next note here was the actress, the little blonde girl in the movie. That's the foster kid. Her name is Sofia Vasilieva.
I was like, I know that girl, and I've seen a lot of her, and I couldn't like figure out like where. And then he's looking, and he's like, I don't see anything
her.
really. No. And then,
No, I mean,
you're
she
like,
looked vaguely familiar to me, but I didn't have any of the same.
Yeah,
reaction
he's
either.
like scrolling, I don't see anything. And then I was just like, let me see. So I was looking at his phone. I was like, 130 episodes of Medium. That is why I know her.
she was the daughter.
She was the daughter of Patricia Arquette.
Which Patricia Arquette's my favorite actress, and I saw the first 2 or 3 seasons of the show, but I didn't watch the entire run because back then it was harder to keep up with TV because it was.
I watched all of it.
Pretty
sure all the way to the end.
It was tricky to watch back then.
I liked that show.
At some point, if they release like a big box set or something, I'll have to pick it up and start from zero and watch.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because I enjoyed it, what I saw, and
but then you're gonna have to watch that girl. She got my nerves.
She was very good in this. I mean, she fit the character. She's a good actress.
She is a good actress.
Because you don't like her, obviously.
She's just kind of bratty sometimes in Medium too, and so I was just like, oh,
it's a good actress.
That girl.
And then I forget who played the dad in Medium. He was in Dawn of the Dead, and I can't think of the actor's name.
I know I had it in my head for a second, and I think it went away. I know his name. I can picture it.
Oh.
He had like kind of longish, scruffy hair, kind of.
He'll come up in a minute.
Yeah.
I did point out here that the duck didn't have to die, and I know you drew a picture of the duck and said "duck, duck, dead," which is sad as hell, because nobody wants to see an animal die, especially a cute little duck like that.
Yeah,
it was super cute. I know it's not really dead, but it's not the 70s. Come on, guys. I kept asking, is this a horror movie, a horror film?
I don't think it was. I think it was more thrillery.
And I kept saying, this is so strange.
Oh, yeah, that was what I forgot to say, like our little genre, like our things.
What?
And like, our criteria.
Oh, that's what sped us up.
Yeah, I was like, why did it go so fast in the beginning? Yeah.
If you've seen this show before, you know what the criteria are.
Yeah.
Can
you tell us what the criteria are?
Oh. Send us an email at contact@thenewlydeads.com or hit us up on Facebook on our Newly Deads page.
Yes.
I also wrote William F. Pother has a very large mouth and floppy hair. That's what caused me to draw the mouth. And I'm not sure what to say about the movie is what I wrote. So,
I mean, do you want to talk about the wolf?
well,
There's a lot going on in this movie, and it's like a little confusing, like he said, with like the brother part of it and her husband. And there's a good reason for it because they don't want you to like put two and two together and be like, oh, that's why what XYZ happened.
which
We are going to give you spoilers, so if you don't want to hear it,
stop now. Go watch.
Plug your ears or put on some earmuffs and just watch us talk and be like, hi, or if you don't want to like listen to it, because this is also a podcast. I forgot to say that in the beginning too, that you can always like, pause it, go watch the movie and come back. Yeah. But come back.
Now that's on the tubes, the YouTubes.
The tubes. Yeah. So basically the kid's dad dies and you don't know why. Like you think it's a car accident because there's like a weird car accident in the beginning of the movie. It's like a rollover, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they end up like going to go stay with the uncle, and you find out that the uncle has always had kind of a crush on the mom, throughout the series here. The guy that plays the son, his name's Conrad, which is Jackson Rathbone, the guy from Twilight. I think he's a pretty decent kid. Like he's like super nice and like trying to be nice to the your hat at the dog.
We have a dog that won't stop licking himself. I was trying not to call it out, but anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, so he he's like a pretty decent kid and he's like trying to be nice to the uncle, and the uncle's just kind of grouchy, right? Like he's got this chick that he's like finally like, yes, I can be with this chick now, but oh yeah, she's got two kids. They're old enough though. I feel like the older kid, the Conrad or whatever, probably could go on his own, right? Yeah. And then the girl it seems like she's like later in high school, so she's like almost going to graduate kind of thing. So
yeah,
they're about to be going away someday, maybe, whatever. But then she finds out that like no money is coming from like her husband's estate, and in fact, what? Are you throwing it at me? Oh, you're throwing it at the dog. He wants to her to take in this foster kid because I guess he deals with foster children and stuff because like that's kind of like their thing. Like she used to be a foster kid, and so he helps people.
Bad situations.
Yes, he helps people. So she goes and like checks this girl out, and she's getting beat up on the playground, like pretty bad. Like
they
had
have
her strung up
upside down.
Yeah, and they're beating her or whatever. So she's like, okay, I'll take her in. Yeah. And then bad things start to happen, right? So, little things start to happen, like, the duck gets killed. There's just like she's asking weird questions about because the lady's on insulin. So she's like, why do you take the green one or like the blue one in the morning? And and she's like, oh, because that's fast acting and the other one's not. And this is my breakfast one and that's my evening one because it's slow acting. And so she's like, okay, asking weird questions. And I don't know, just things just progress from there, right? It just kind of ramps up a little bit.
Are we going to talk about the wolf?
Yeah, so that's part of it, right? So like the older son Conrad finds blood on the floor and he goes outside and she's got a bloody steak and she's trying to get this wolf, and she's also like having her monthly grossness, like like leaking down her leg kind of thing. And so gross, yeah. But she's got this steak and she's like shaking it at this wolf or whatever, and she's like, he's my friend, kind of thing.
But you find out that they've met before.
Yes. So why do you feel weird about that?
Well, it's still a wild animal, and regardless of the fact that she was like first ran into the wolf when she's in the car accident and is trapped in the car and bleeding. And
so you have to give context about that because we didn't even talk about that part. So basically, the girl. So the youngest daughter, the one that's in high school, doesn't trust this girl at all. And the mom is starting to like say, you know what, I can't take on another kid. Like I I'm grieving still for my husband, whatever. And so she tells the DCFS person or whatever that I can't take another girl, and she hears it and she's like, that's fine. And then when she shuts the door, she's like, because I've got more things to do, or I'm not finished, or something like that. And so like the teenage daughter doesn't trust her. So she like goes and like does her investigating. So she looks at her old house that she lived in, and then she finds a picture.
All of her stuff was still there.
All of her
It was
stuff
only
was still
a few months
there.
ago. She went into foster care and they kept her stuff in the house. They didn't give it to her.
No. And like her pictures of her and her mom and her dad.
Everything.
So come to find out, her mom was
Everything.
abusing her. And she ended up dying in a car accident. Well, you come to find out that the woman that's selling the house, the real estate agent, was like, oh no, like it's both the mom and the dad died in the car accident. And I think that, you know, she was kind of a little crazy and like ran the dad over and killed the dad. And so she's like, oh, that's strange. So she goes upstairs and like starts sneaking around the bedroom where the girl like used to stay. And she finds a picture. It's her mom and it's her dad. So her dad was having an affair with this woman and had a complete life. That is his other daughter. So that's her half sister. And she's wanting now to seek revenge because she was in the accident when her mom hit her dad and found out that he had a completely other like life and knocked all her teeth out. And she's got dentures now and stuff like that. And
but as she's in the car bleeding, there's the wolf.
There's a wolf
shows up later.
That came up. Yeah, that came
apparently.
Right. I just think she likes wolves because she like saw the wolf when she was like injured.
Like leaking up the blood from the accident,
right.
And like she's not talking to it at that point. She's just in pain.
She was trying to teach the wolf that it's safe to come there because she wanted that wolf to like kill somebody. Like she had this whole master plan where she was just going to off everybody in the family and get revenge on them.
But yeah, she like. But that's the thing I don't get is, you know, you can't really control a wolf, and I know she essentially got the wolf to do what she wanted it to do.
Yeah.
To some extent, and how it got inside the big container, I have no idea because the girl couldn't get out. So how did the wolf get in?
Right.
Like, unless the wolf went in the top, but how the wolf? I don't know.
Anyways, she knew. She knew. That's why she was luring it in with the stake.
Yeah, but it's strange.
Anyways, yeah. So what do you feel like? You feel like it's a?
I felt like that was weird. I called it Dr. Wolfenstein.
Yeah. So out of hunks of junks.
So it was Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along.
So. Oh, I also wondered how the accident report for the thing didn't report the victims. That then the cops would have said, "Oh, hey, by the way, the guy that's in the car accident is the father of the girl who also is your dad." Like, there's some big cheesy plot holes that don't make sense in the movie,
right?
That leave it up for.
Well, and the lawyer or whatever knew that like the dad was the dad of that girl, and that he wanted her to be like the foster mom or whatever because. Whatever. So he was in on it too. Like the lawyer guy he knew about it.
Oh, he knew, yeah, but he couldn't tell them or whatever. Attorney-client privilege. I don't know. When everybody's dead, does it matter?
Yeah, it's shady.
And the ending was strange because I don't feel like it was justified. What happened? I mean, if we don't want to leave the very end spoiler free, that's fine. But ultimately, the dad was the real bad guy in the movie. Like. That was my takeaway.
Yeah.
So out of what hunks of junk? I gave it a 1.5.
They lived in a junkyard. I gave it a 2
because
I didn't fall asleep.
Yeah, and we both agreed that the actors were decent. Well cast, did the good job.
Yeah, if they would have plugged up some of the plot holes, maybe like I might have given it like more like a 3.
Because it was well shot. It was an interesting location.
Mm-hmm.
There was enough things going on that made it watchable.
And I was like, I mean, I kind of had things figured out, but also like.
Yeah, it wasn't a shocker.
No. So.
They could have done some things to tighten it up though, and make it into
decent.
Something more interesting.
Yeah. So if they don't want to watch this, but they do want to watch something else, what do you recommend?
Well, you originally had said something when we were watching it that I think probably would have been a good recommendation, but I'd already kind of chosen at that point. I don't like to switch.
The Bad Seed?
No, The Good Son. I thought you'd mentioned.
Oh, I said The Bad Seed, which is the same thing.
Well, I mean, The Bad Seed and The Good Son would both be good.
There are two different movies, right?
Two different movies, yeah. The Good Son, which instantly my ex-mother-in-law went to go see it thinking, oh, Macaulay Culkin, it's going to be a kid's movie, and was horrified, but stayed through the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, The Good Son would have been a good recommendation, but I instead went with 2009's Orphan, which is a very similar premise in a way, but without the familial ties. Just the, there's a lot of killer kids movies, and especially ones where they're kind of adopted or taken in situations because it's the fear of the unknown. So there was a sequel to it, which we've still not seen yet. I don't even know if you've seen the original, to be honest, but there's Orphan First Kill, which is available now streaming. So anyway, that's my suggestion.
I'm not blowing it up
because we've
got more movies to watch. So I'm just going to gingerly put it down here.
Ginger.
But I am going to blow up my...
Oh, no. Don't do that. That's expensive.
I'm going to throw it. I almost said laptop. All right, what are we watching next week?
You're going to be excited about this one, maybe.
Boggy Creek, The Legend is True. Didn't we already watch Boggy Creek something?
Well, there's Boggy Creek. There's The Legend of Boggy Creek, which is a 70s like lo-fi like cult classic. Then there's The Legend of Boggy Creek 2 that is not nearly the same, but is on the shelf. And then there's this one, which it's kind of like Amityville. They made some other Boggy Creek related movies, even a series called Boggy Creek. But it's a Bigfoot movie.
It is a Bigfoot movie?
I believe so.
Like the Boggy Creek Monsters. I like that this guy's name is Texas Battle.
Oh, we've come across Texas Battle in some other way. I couldn't figure it out when I was doing my notes.
He looks familiar.
When I made my notes, I couldn't find him in anything we'd seen, but I know we've come across him somewhere before because that name it's impossible not to remember that name.
Yeah.
This is from 2010. I don't know if I said that.
All right, I'm going to read the synopsis. When Jennifer's father dies in a horrific accident, she decides to visit his cabin in the small town of Boggy Creek with a few friends. However, legends say that beneath the waters of Boggy Creek lurks a deadly creature that comes out to murder men and abduct women. Jennifer and her friends now find themselves camping on the feeding grounds of the giant beast, turning their quiet trip into a desperate fight for survival. I don't think it's a Bigfoot.
Didn't we watch another movie, though, that was a Bigfoot movie, and the Bigfoot was abducting women and murdering dudes? Like, it was like kind of sexual assaulty?
Yeah. I feel like this is like alligatory.
You think so? Maybe. I don't know, with the name Boggy Creek, I mean, typically that's associated with...
I can't figure out what this is.
Because The Legend of Boggy Creek is a Bigfoot movie, and so the Boggy Creek, The Legend Continues sounds a little too... I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
It's like something out of Chud.
Maybe it's like Swamp Thing.
But this has a making of documentary, deleted scenes, photo gallery, motion menus. I can't read with my glasses on apparently, and trailers. So,
all right, I'm excited. Either way,
put that right there.
Sure it's gonna be a bucket of cheese.
It's gonna be I already know what the rating is on it. I'm not going to tell you, but I already saw it when I started making my notes for next week. So,
all right. Well, I kind of rambled on there for a while about the
That's okay.
movie. I enjoyed it. So, anyways,
it was a surprising, not too bad of a movie.
Yeah. So, thank you for watching, and until next week,
keep it cheap and creepy.
Yeah, I gotta find the.
Go look after your mother and sister. Where are you going? I'm gonna finish this.
Goodbye, Tom.
When I snap my fingers, everybody says short. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Hey, you want some gum? Not in the mood. Oh my gosh.
You can dream until you brew, but you will never top that.